Good morning, everybody. This is Elba Colón coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to Gratitude Friday. We're going to have special guests here in a minute. He'll come on board. His name is Nathan Todd from South Carolina. Woohoo! Let's go. Here we go. I see you, Nathan. Let's get you on board. He's coming on board. Facebook says it's alive. Hello, Chris. It's good to see you.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
Wonderful. Hi, Lisa. People are already coming on board. Welcome, everybody. This is Elba Colón coming to you from Columbus, Ohio, here in my home office with special guest star here, Nathan Todd. I am a transformational mindset coach, facilitator, and podcast. And today's segment is on Nathan Todd, which has an interesting story. It's like he is actually a mindset accountability coach himself. He is an author. He just came out with a book called Awaken the Beast. And he also is a podcaster with a Facebook Live show that comes on actually on Friday nights at 7 o'clock, which is it's called No Label Live, which is beautiful. Just so people can understand what the whole purpose of the show is. The whole purpose of the show is about gratitude. It's actually, I got this from Todd the other day. It's about awakening the gratitude within. And the way we do that is to bring honor, respect, value, and awareness, all about gratitude. There's so much power behind gratitude. A lot of people don't realize it. And that's why I'm here to do this purpose, to serve this purpose, and that is to awaken the gratitude within everyone. So with that being said, Nathan, it's good to have you on board, like I said. And let's start off with Nathan. Tell us a little bit more about you and tell us, what does gratitude mean to you?
So when I thought about this question, here's kind of what came to mind for me. It's that gratitude is really about being thankful. And it's really about being thankful for the things that we have no control over. And for me, as part of my story, the reason I say that is I was born premature. And I was born with cerebral palsy. So that's something that was outside of my control. I am thankful that I'm alive today. And I'm also thankful that I have cerebral palsy because it gives me an opportunity to make an impact in the world just by having this disability. So I think it, again, is about being thankful for the things that we actually can't control in our life, but the things that actually make us who we are.
You know, you're my 35th person that I interview, and I'm telling you, you're the only person. This is why I love this show. This is why I love doing what I do, because I learn something new each time. And you're the first person I ever heard that says being in gratitude, being thankful for something that you don't have no control. And to have cerebral palsy, most definitely you had no control over that, but yet you're in gratitude and you want to use that like a tool to make a difference in people's lives. So with that being said, how do you make a difference how are you making a difference, in people's lives with that disability?
Yeah, so I think for me, it started when I was a little kid. And again, I think there's going to be a pattern here. This was something that I didn't even have control over. It's something that somewhere along the line, my mom got involved with the March of Dimes. And so, as a little kid, I became an ambassador for the March of Dimes.
Oh.
And so I was, at that point, I was being cute and saying whatever my mom had created for me to say. But I think that part of my story has kind of been a foundation for what I do now with speaking. For the past 9 years, I worked at an organization where we did life coaching for people with disabilities. And it's really about, for me, it's about empowering people who have quote unquote disability to realize that just because you have some condition in your life does not mean that you have the limitations that are placed on you by other people.
Wow. And that's where the no label came from. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
So I'm going to move this. I actually don't have my tripod today, so we'll see if I get this back up right. But, like, that's what Elba's talking about. No label defines me. And so what that really represents to me is every day all of us are walking around in the world and we are given these "hello, my name is" name tags that we wear every day. But how many of us are sitting there and they're name tags that we didn't write ourselves, but they're name tags that other people wrote for us? And so let's just use cerebral palsy as the name tag, right? I am cerebral palsy. With that, based on my experience, a lot of times people assume that that comes with an intellectual disability. They assume that you can't do a lot of things physically.
Right.
So they make assumptions just based off of that name tag that you wear without ever getting to know you. And it's not just related to disabilities. We all have those labels where people make assumptions about us all day long.
Right, correct.
They actually get to know us, get to experience who we are, and interact with us. So my thought is, the good thing about name tags and labels, you can peel them off, right? I'm not saying that they don't exist for us. They're going to exist for us every day of our life. But we can take and create a new name tag and place that on us ourselves so that when we're walking around, we can say, for me, let's use my contract, because I know that's the context in which you are aware. So I can walk around, I can put my label on that says, I'm a powerful, authentic, loving man. And how much more empowered do I feel? A lot. A lot. So that's going to change how I interact with my world.
Okay, so how about this? I'm gratitude. How would you walk with that? With all that you said, with your disability, how do you show up in gratitude?
So I think in that context, how I show up is I try and show empathy.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And a lot of times, and it's not specific to everyone, but I think this happens a lot. And I'll just share a story. So this happens to me all the time. I'll go to a grocery store or go out somewhere in public, and a lot of times people will come up and say, "It's good to see you out," right? And so that turns a lot of people off because they're like, "Okay, what am I supposed to be doing?"
Oh, I see.
Right? Am I just supposed to be stuck at home? But to show up in gratitude and to show up to make the change I want to in the world, that to me is an opportunity to interact with that person and change their perception of what they think I'm supposed to be doing, and
Right.
what they think other people with disabilities are able to do. So I think showing up in gratitude means showing up in all my gifts and all my power to shift the mindset of that person who comes up and asks a question, to not show up and be quote unquote defensive or show up like an a-hole, like why are you asking me why am I out today, but just have a conversation and say, hey, it's great to see you too, hope you have a great day, because it leads to a whole different conversation and a different feeling when you show up and you just have a conversation than to get in a negative space and just be like, walk away.
It's true. I love how you said that, because I'm just imagining you like walking into a store. I just came from Kroger's early this morning, and I can imagine someone saying, "Oh, it's good to see you," when rather, I like how you turned that around and just said, "It's good to see you too." But what I hear you said through behind the lines without you saying it, I can see why you say empathy, but I also see behind that love. Like, because you are in gratitude for the disability that you have, because you know you have a purpose behind it. It's like saying, you know what, I have a purpose, I know it, I have this disability, and I'm grateful for it. Let me go and show up to the world. And so when someone approaches you, it's like saying, you know what, I love you enough to tell you that it's possible. Even though I have this disability, whatever you're going on, it's possible. Like you prove to the world. Like when I think about you, I think about, if I'm having a bad day, I'll think about you and I'm like, you know what excuse do I have? He doesn't use it as an excuse. So why should I use it as an excuse? Like with my own issues. So to me, by you showing up to the world in gratitude, it's like saying, you know what? I love the world enough to show up. And that's that. You didn't say it, but that's how I experienced that. And I think it's beautiful. So you sourced that.
Well, and how many people, like the whole purpose when I started the Awaken the Gratitude Challenge started with a conversation because someone said that they don't matter. And so that to me doesn't sit well with me when somebody that I care about thinks that they don't matter. But how often do we go around and tell people that we're grateful that they're just here? Like we say we're grateful for things like being alive. We're grateful to be in the positions that we are, but how often do we tell the people in our life that we're just grateful for them?
Exactly. I'm Nathan, all I could see is like your neck and above. I don't know if you want to put there. That's better. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, how important. Yes. See, it's, what I kind of find out, Nathan, about that is that a lot of people, let me take a deep breath because I get excited about this subject. What I discover about gratitude is that it's like a kaleidoscope. a spectrum of colors, and it's viewed, it all sound the same, but when we really look at gratitude, it really looks different. So what you just share about, showing gratitude to others, that's beautiful, because we show gratitude to ourselves. But there's a lot of people, they don't even think about themselves, what they're grateful for what they have.
Yeah.
Not great for their health. Thank you, health, for taking care of my body. Thank you, weather, for giving me this wonderful weather. Like, they're always thinking about for the others. And this is a challenge I have with my clients, is that they're always thinking about the others, and that's why they're depleted. Whereas if they can just turn around, look at themselves, and be grateful for who you are and what have you created.
Yeah.
So yes, what you're saying is good, that what I'm trying to say is that it's important to have a balance, being gratitude for our own selves, and then being gratitude for others. And what that does is create a synergy that rotates, just goes on and on and on. It's give and take, give and take, give and take.
Well, yeah, we can't. When I hear that, what I hear is we can't give from an empty tank, right? So we must fill ourselves up so that we're able to go out and give to the world as well.
Yes, it is. And you know what? Also, if you could go extend more about that, because we talked about this last night when we were talking on the phone about I matter. So you put out a challenge out there the other night, and the challenge is to text 3 people or contact 3 people that you're in gratitude, because that way they know they matter. Elaborate or talk more into depth about matter, why people matter, why we matter, why you matter, why we all matter.
Why we all matter, I think, is because we're all different. We are all unique, and we matter because there are things that you're able to provide to the world that aren't my gifts. There are people that you can connect to, and this is not just directed at Elba, this is anybody watching. There are people that you're able to connect with that I'm not going to be the person that's going to be able to reach them. And we all have different situations in life that someone else is sitting there and they're waiting for you to show up because they're in that situation, and you're the person that's going to be that change agent for that person sitting and waiting. But if you're sitting in the thought and mindset that you don't matter, then you're robbing the world of your gift and really of your purpose. And I think that's also where that comes in, right? A lot of times when we don't really understand what our purpose is, it's very easy to get caught in the feeling that you don't matter because you're sitting there and you're confused. You are confused, and when there's confusion going on, it's very easy to say, I don't know what step to take.
I like that. Yeah. That is good. So how through gratitude do you suppose people can get out of that funk? How can gratitude can lead them or guide them, or what do you, from your experience?
So, and I don't do this as much as I should as a daily practice, but I do. When I do it, I see a difference. But I think if you're sitting there and you are feeling like right now I don't matter, then get out a pen and some paper and write down 3 things that you love about yourself. Right? And then when you figure out what those 3 things are, the next step that I would take is say, okay, this is what I love about myself. what is one step I can take to turn that into some form of action?
Mm.
Because to get out of anywhere, it's taking that first step.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a big step. As somebody who didn't learn to walk until they were 4 years old,
Right.
I just imagine like my mom and my dad didn't care how big the step was. When I took 1 inch forward, they were like, "Woo, yeah!" So let's celebrate that 1 inch forward by taking the action. And one action can just, it's like the compound effect, it just builds on itself.
Mm. Yes. And you know what, Nathan? I My experience of you, especially what you said in the earlier show, for those who are watching, when we started up the show, I asked him what does gratitude mean to him, and the first thing he says is to be gratitude for something you don't have no control of. For example, you use your disability, cerebral palsy, as an example. And so I imagine you, Nathan, to be gratitude, like at all times. You know, you're human too. You're human. You're still human. I'm sure you have your days too.
Oh
But
yeah, my parents would tell you different. They'd be like, "Are you sure? Who? What are you talking about?" So yeah, I definitely have my days as well. I'm a human being, and I think that's important because we do all have times when we are gonna be in that hole, and we're gonna be like, "Oh, it's another day. Come on." But I think that's a point when you're able to look back and say, "Well, I've been here before, and guess what? I got out of it." Um, and I started to show up the way that I wanted to show up. Because I definitely have my days for sure. Um, I'm not immune to that at all.
but the point is, you fall down, you get right back up. You
Yeah.
get right back up. You get right back up. So you're truly an inspiration for sure, Nathan.
Well,
Most
thank
doubt.
you.
I mean, most definitely. Not, you are an inspiration. So let me see where we at with the time here. My goodness, we're like 10 minutes till 10:30, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, this has
Yesterday
been
we talked
great.
for a long time on the phone too. We could just keep on, keep on, keep on.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, and I appreciate the opportunity for sure.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you the last three questions that I ask every guest that comes on board. And
Okay.
so the first question, I'll ask you the first two questions, and then after the first two questions, I'll explain the third question, and then I'll ask you the third question, and we'll wrap it up from there. Okay?
Okay.
So the first two question is, what are you grateful for today, and why?
What am I grateful for today? I think when I think about what I'm grateful for today, I think it's the relationships that I have with the people in my life today. Um,
Mm,
because I like, yes, we say all these things at the front end of the show where author blah blah blah, but without the relationships in my life, none of that would be possible because we're not a one man or one woman show. Um, and one of the greatest gifts that I ever got was somebody standing for me, for the transformational training that we've both been a part of. And
mm,
that in and of itself, when I think about the relationships, it's those new relationships that are in my life that
mm.
are pushing me to do bigger and better things.
You know, when you said that, when I think about the person who enrolled me into my own personal training, which we refer to them as our angel, you this thought came to my mind just now as you were speaking to that. These angels that we have in our lives, because they make such a huge difference. They're like, for me, when I think about my angel, he's like the catalyst of my life. Like, he's the catalyst of where I am at today. So,
And it also started with one event, right? For me, it started with Summit of Greatness. And I specifically remember getting in line for Chris Lee to sign the book. And I told him at the table, I was like, my greatest gift is my greatest adversity. My cerebral palsy is the reason I'm going to go change the world. And I truly believe that.
And you are. Like, people are watching this show, and I know they watched your show. There's going to be hundreds, thousands of people watching this show, and I'm telling you, you are already impacting. Because just interviewing you, today, I've spoken to you a few times before, and each time I'm at awe. Like, what am I? It's like I got this nerd face. What are you, about? It's like, oh, shake it off. So thank you for coming on board. I really appreciate you. We even have Laura watching, and she's in Hawaii for vacation. Right. Hi, Laura. Laura, come back home soon.
Yeah, hopefully you're okay if you're in Hawaii.
Well, yeah, she's okay. She's keeping on. She's letting us know that she's safe. So that's great of Laura to do that. So we appreciate her, and she'll be home safe for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, good. And also, with that being said, so you are grateful for the relationships that are in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And because the difference that they made in their life, and because of that relationship, especially going to training, is what caused you to be where you at today. Like, pretty much that angel was the catalyst in your life.
Yeah.
My third question is this. What does that affirm about who you are? And I'll explain this, okay?
Yeah.
So what I discovered about gratitude is that gratitude will link us to our affirmations. People who practice personal self-development know that it's important to have daily affirmations. And so sometimes I used to do daily affirmation. I would fake it till I make it because I didn't believe in myself. So what I come to discover by gratitude is that gratitude will link us to our affirmations, because whatever we're being is the very thing we're attracting. So, like, look at our blessing, and you want to ask yourself, okay, I'm grateful for this relationship because this relationship I have is the catalyst in my life. What is it that I was being, or what in my being that attracted this blessing? And once people connect that affirmation to their gratitude, there's no denying. Like, you don't have a choice but to believe, because your blessing is the proof. It's the evidence, right? It's the witness to who you are. And nobody can rob that away from you. No hater can take that away from you. Not even your ego can take that away from you. Nobody can take that. Even your own self can take away that own affirmation from ourselves. Because our blessing is the proof of it. So with that being said, what does that affirm about who you are? So you would say, I am what? One thing, one affirmation about that blessing that you received.
So my affirmation is, I am unique, I am seen, I am the creator of my own future, and no label defines me.
Okay, so out of all those four, what one for that particular blessing, for that relationship?
So
what is it about you that attracted that blessing into your life, that relationship, that caused you where you at today?
When I think about it, I think about the word seen. When it's related to relationships, because also I'll go back to the training. The one thing I kept getting hit with every time was, why are you hiding? Why are you hiding? Why are you hiding? And then I was like, well, that's not how I want to show up in the world to people. So I keep getting this. So there's something to it. So I think that scene to me is what makes the biggest difference.
Yes, I am seen. And you know what, Nathan?
What?
I see you. I see you. I see you. And because I see you, please tell us around the world tell us about that book, Awaken the Beast. Tell us, it's a workbook. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Yeah. So, and it's like, this is just perfect. The questions are just like lining up, right? So going back to scene, right? That is really, the book is about helping somebody figure out how they can be seen in their own life, because it's called Empower Yourself, Awaken the Beast Within. And the whole catalyst was, every day I would hear people say, I can't do that. It's not possible to do that, right? And for me, every day it was based around the story of disability. So I was like, what is a way where you can impact a mindset, but not just by reading a book, but by doing exercises? So BEAST stands for belief, exploration, action, success, and teaching. And those are 5 tools that I believe will help anybody change their mindset and be more successful. So every one of those has exercises attached to them in the book.
And I got the link to it, so I'll post that for everyone to come and grab that and check that out. Okay, guys, check that out. When I read your profile in the book, I was like, how come have I not reached out to him? Like, duh. I was like, I had to knock myself out. And I was like, oh. So I went out to you and said, I got to get you on board.
Well, and for those people that are watching, just to give you some clarity, that whole experience just started from one idea from the beginning of this training to the very end. Like, I had no aspirations to actually do any of that before I ever took the training. And I think, again, that goes back to that scene thing, right?
And when did you graduate?
So I graduated, I think we ended in February.
Of this year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you already got that book out.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. You didn't play.
No, but see, that's the thing, right? All the stuff that we want to do, I believe that it's up here, but we just have to believe in ourselves that it's something that we can do. And the thing is, we're all human beings. Yes, the people that we aspire to be are at different points in their journey, but at some point they were at a point that's very similar to where you are right now. So why can't you do it?
Right, right. Exactly. I believe that too. I believe like it's always been like right here, right here, right here, right here. It was just waiting for us to say yes and take action on it. And that's what you did. So beautiful.
Let me throw this out while we're on here, because I'm going to make a public declaration that one day I will be on the Inspiring Life
Yes.
Facebook show. And that's part of it too. You have to declare what you want so you can start taking action to make that happen.
Right. And the name of the show is Inspired with Lewis House.
Yeah.
How's it go? What's the whole thing?
Inspired Life with Lewis House on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah. I want that to be real clear, because there's a lot of shows out there with Inspire, and I want you to be on the show that you want to be on. So that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. So, absolutely.
So that's why I asked you again. Beautiful. Well, I am so happy to have you on board. Um, let's see here. So I'm so happy to have you on board. Make sure you guys watch his show tonight at 7 o'clock, No Label Live. Nathan, I'm going to post everything on there so everyone will have access to your information. And again, thank you. Thank you. I am so in gratitude for you to have you on board. Yeah, you were perfect for me today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do with awakening the gratitude for others.
That's right. Thank you for the idea. Awaken the gratitude. That's the whole purpose of the show, is to awaken the gratitude within.
Yeah.
I love you, Nathan.
Love
Have
you
a
too.
wonderful day. Beautiful. Talk to you soon.
All right.
And see you at Summit Greatness.
Yep.
Ready? Let's give it a kiss. Hold on, Nathan. Let's give a kiss to the world. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bye.
Bye.